June 30th, 2025. While 29 NBA teams scrambled for scraps, the Houston Rockets quietly landed a sharpshooting 41% three-point ace and reunited with a former rebounding champ. Dorian Finney-Smith and Clint Capella, two proven winners, no headlines. Somehow, nobody intervened. It's either the steal of free agency or I'm completely losing my mind.
Finney-Smith going to the basket. Counter!
Let's set the stage. The Houston Rockets just finished second in the West. They've got Kevin Durant. They've got Alperen Sengun blossoming into an all-star. They've got Amen Thompson looking like a future Defensive Player of the Year. They own one of the best young cores in the entire NBA, and yet they just lost in the first round to the 7th-seeded Warriors. Why? Because depth wins championships. Because you need more than stars. When Dillon Brooks was shipped out in the Durant trade, they lost a critical perimeter defender. And when Steven Adams, now 31, can't give you 35 minutes a night, suddenly you're exposed. But what if they could patch those exact holes? So what did Houston do? They didn't panic. They didn't throw more prospects into trades or hand out bloated contracts to aging stars. Instead, they absolutely nailed free agency. Dorian Finney-Smith. 4 years, $53 million. That's $13 million a year for a guy who just shot 41% from 3, the highest mark of his career at age 32. Clint Capella. 3 years, $21 million. That's $7 million a season for a former rebounding champion. For context, backup point guards are signing for more. Bench players who barely see the court are making more. And what did the Rockets get for this combined $20 million a year? 2 proven playoff contributors who check every box on their needs list. Some teams pay that for one average starter. Houston got a versatile defensive ace and a dominant glass cleaner, both with playoff pedigrees. But here's where it becomes outright theft. Everyone knew what the Rockets needed. They needed wing depth. Veteran shooting. A backup big to ease Sengun's load. Playoff experience. Houston's response? Check, 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 and checked out Morant-esque. Oh my goodness. Now you might be thinking, if these guys are so good, why didn't anyone else scoop them up? Let me show you why Dorian Finney-Smith might be the most underrated player in the NBA. Here's a stat that'll blow your mind. Finney-Smith is the only player in the entire league who defended all 5 positions for at least 15 half-court matchups per game last season. The only one. Point guards? Locked up. Shooting guards? Clamped. Small forwards? Shut down. Power forwards? No problem. Centers? Yep, he guards them too. 86 feet 7 inches. 220 pounds, he's a defensive Swiss Army knife. And when he's your primary defender, opponents shoot 5% worse than normal. That's the difference between an average shooter and a terrible shooter. But here's what most people miss, his offensive leap. After years hovering around 35 to 37% from 3, Finney-Smith just hit 41%. That's not a fluke. That's a veteran who's figured it out. Catch and shoot. 43%. That's elite. That means defenses have to stay glued to him. That means he's perfect alongside Kevin Durant, spacing the floor, punishing doubles, and knocking down open looks. And there's more. Playing with great passers turns good shooters into lethal ones. Finney-Smith thrived next to Luka Doncic in Dallas and thrived with the Clippers' ball movement. Now he joins Sengun, who is basically a mini Jokic, averaging 5 assists per game as a center. Sengun sees passes that shouldn't exist, threads needles that aren't there. And now he's got a 41% three-point sniper who knows exactly where to stand, exactly when to cut, and exactly how to cash in. The Rockets just quietly solved every one of their playoff weaknesses without overpaying or mortgaging the future. That's how you build a contender. That's how you win titles.
Sweet. Can't get another one.
That's not fair. That's a cheat code. But let's circle back to that defense for a second. The Rockets lost Dillon Brooks in the Durant trade. Brooks was their perimeter anchor. Sure, he shot 39% from 3 in the regular season, but that dipped to 34% in the playoffs. Finney Smith? Better defender, better shooter, better playoff performer, and somehow he cost less than Brooks was making. And here's something nobody talks about. Finney Smith is a culture guy. 9-year vet, battle-tested, never complains about his role, never forces shots, always makes the right play. You know what a young team like Houston needs? Exactly that. They landed an elite 3-and-D wing for pennies on the dollar. But that's only half the story. Because what they did with Clint Capella, that's when this gets personal. Let me tell you a story. 2014 NBA Draft, pick number 25. The Houston Rockets select a raw, athletic center from Switzerland named Clint Capella. Nobody knew who he was. Nobody expected much. 6 years later, he was catching lobs from James Harden, protecting the rim, helping Houston push the Warriors to 7 games. From G League project to starting center, runner-up for most improved player. By 2019, he was the perfect rim-running center for their system. Then 2020 came. The Rockets traded him to Atlanta in a salary dump. Capella went to the Hawks and didn't just survive, he thrived. In 2020-21, he led the entire NBA in rebounding at 14.3 boards a game. More than Gobert. More than Embiid. More than Jokic. But fast forward to 2024-25. Capella's numbers fell off, 8.9 points, lowest since 2016. 8.5 rebounds down from 14.3. Minutes down to 21.4, a career low as a starter. In Atlanta, he was getting phased out, becoming an afterthought. Then June 30th happened. The Rockets picked up the phone. Come home. 3 years, $21 million. That's backup center money for a starting caliber big. Here's why this is genius for Houston, the lob threat. That's Capella's bread and butter, elite finisher on alley-oops. With Sengun's high post passing, the chemistry will be instant. Capella sets monster screens, freeing Durant for mid-range killers and opening passing lanes for Sengun. Want elite hustle stats? Capella has an 18.7% offensive rebound rate. That's huge. Extra possessions, second chances, winning plays. And he's still blocking a shot a game in limited minutes. Under Ime Udoka's defensive system, expect that to tick back up. Now the Rockets have Sengun, Steven Adams, and Clint Capella. That's 3 real NBA centers on a roster where most teams struggle to find 2. And here's the hidden gem. Capella knows this franchise. He knows the culture, what it takes to win in Houston. He's the guy who went from an overlooked 25th pick to a critical piece on 50-win teams. He turned limited offensive tools into maximum impact through effort and IQ. The Rockets didn't just sign players. They rebuilt their foundation, filled every hole, and did it without sacrificing the future. That's how you turn a great team into a title favorite. Okay, so the Rockets just landed 2 perfect role players for under $21 million combined. But here's where it gets terrifying for the rest of the league. Remember how this all started? 2nd seed in the West, first round exit to the 7th seeded Warriors. Durant trade happens, but the core flaw, depth, was still there. Now look at this roster. The starters, Fred VanVleet, Amen Thompson, Kevin Durant, Jabari Smith Jr., and Alperen Sengun. Bench, Dorian Finney-Smith, Clint Capella, Reed Shepherd, Cam Whitmore, Tari Eason, Aaron Holiday. The lineup combinations are outrageous. Want to go small? Roll out VanVleet, Thompson, Durant, Finney-Smith, and Sengun. 5 players who can switch everything and still score at will. Need size? Play Capella and Steven Adams together for a Twin Towers look. Craving chaos? Let Finney-Smith guard centers while Durant runs point forward. And the beautiful part? This roster makes perfect sense financially. Durant at $51 million is your superstar. VanVleet and Sengun combined for around $60 million as foundational pieces. Then Finney-Smith and Capella cost just $20 million together for elite role player impact. That's smart, efficient money. The age curve fits perfectly too. Your young core, Sengun, Thompson, Smith Jr., is all 21 or 22, right at the start of their ascent. Your vets, Durant, VanVleet, Finney-Smith, Adams, Capella, bring playoff scars and championship hunger. It's the perfect marriage of youth and experience. Look at the Western Conference now. It's a three-team race. The defending champ Thunder and their loaded young core. The Nuggets with Jokic at the height of his powers. And now the Rockets, deeper, more balanced, and hungrier than ever. Everyone else? They're fighting for fourth. So how did Houston pull this off? Simple. They zigged while everyone else zagged. They prioritized fit over flashy names, winning over egos, and actual basketball substance over hype. Dorian Finney-Smith, a 41% three-point sniper who guards all 5 positions, on this team with these playmakers? That's the perfect fit. Clint Capella coming home isn't just nostalgia, it's destiny. A proven playoff performer who understands this city, this franchise, and what it takes to succeed here, for backup center money. It's almost disrespectful. The Rockets didn't just improve. They completed their puzzle. They found the exact pieces to elevate Durant and Sengun, addressed every flaw exposed by their playoff loss, and did it for less than some teams pay their third best guy. Houston got away with this because no one believed they could. But mainly, they got away with it because they're simply smarter than everyone else. And now they're more dangerous than ever. So what's your take? Did the Rockets just win free agency without anyone noticing? Is this the depth that finally pushes them over the top? Drop your thoughts below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell, because this season, Houston is about to shock the entire NBA.